So hopefully the sound quality will be better on this because I officially broke up with Verizon this week. I have terrible service where I live, and I was dropping phone calls literally when I was connected to the Wi-Fi in my house. And I tried new SIM cards and everything. It just wasn't working out anymore. So when I switched carriers to get better signal, I got a new phone. So, which is good because the speaker on the other one was literal garbage because I think I destroyed it at the color run. I mean, it still worked and everything. It just, and it might have been the case that was in, because I didn't seem to have the issue when the phone was in the case or was out of the case. But I wanted protection because I dropped my phone. I'm kind of klutzy, and then protecting it from like the run and elements. So not being in a case just didn't seem like a smart idea for someone like me. So sound quality should be better. Video quality, a little improvement, I think. I don't know a whole lot about that, but anyways, these last 2 weeks of running have been rough. Trying to get excited about the Wasatch race, which I did end up signing up for, and it sold out. So the race is a go, and it sold out, which is a good thing because in order for them to hold the event, they had to meet their permit limits, which are COVID regulations to the Utah state. And with the Utah regulations, in order for the company to make the money necessary to hold the event and pay for it, they had to sell all the permits. The weather outside right now is beautiful, so everyone's out doing yard work. It's like in the 60s. It was in the 60s and 70s all week. So not snowing here at all, obviously. So anyways, I signed up for the event and I found out on Tuesday what my wave is for my start time. And it can be anywhere between 6 a.m. and 8:20. I'm a little nervous about that. I am torn on what time I want. And I'm trying to figure out right now, like, what clothing I'm gonna wear on race day. And I know it seems premature, but it's important to not do anything new on race day. But I've had kind of like a crappy couple training weeks, feeling really slow, feeling like I'm not getting any better, and the runs are just starting to feel harder. But I think that's because a lot of my training was kind of repetitive, which is good because it keeps building your base endurance wise. Looking ahead at my next coming weeks, I specifically asked for some like interval runs just to switch things up and feel like the harder ones were harder, so that these easy runs will feel easier than the intervals. And my coach gave me some, and I'm honestly a little bit terrified because they look tough, but it'll be a good way to shake up routines, build lung capacity and some muscular endurance. I've really been focusing on trying to get more yoga in throughout the week for like recovery. And then some of the podcasts I'm listening to, there's some other things that I want to purchase or try out to see if it'll help me with not only recovery but nutrition, because that's definitely an area I can stand to improve on. So I realized that I haven't done an update for a couple of days, or a couple of weeks at this point. I officially have my wave start time. It's going to be an 8:20 a.m. marathon race time. As you can see, my face is breaking out very badly, so please disregard. So 8:20 a.m. marathon race time. The benefit is I can stay at a hotel that I believe is going to be a little bit nicer, and it'll be a little farther away without having to wake up super early. I'll still be able to wake up at a fairly decent time. No real difference compared to like when I would be running on my own long runs, so that's a good thing. The weather here has been weird. Some days it's cool, some days it's hot. Today is one of like the cooler days. I'm getting ready to do this interval workout that I've written on my arm. as you can see. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm a little nervous. I think it's gonna be tough, but I've been doing some good runs lately, relatively pain-free, and I just ran 16 miles last week. I realized that I'm pretty early in the 16 like mileages for how many weeks out I am. So I anticipate doing at least a 20-mile run twice, if not longer. Don't really like that idea, but honestly, I'm kind of thankful for doing these longer runs, because in 2017 when I ran, I hit the wall, not at 20, at 16. So it's kind of preparing me to better fuel. I tried Humagel on my long run last weekend, and I actually really liked it. So I thought it was a pretty good consistency and a nice tart sweet treat while running. So I think I'm going to continue working with that. There's a couple other things that I want to try out. I still have about 11 weeks to the race, and I'm trying to make decisions already on what it is I'm going to wear so that I can start practicing it, because yeah. I went back to my old brand of shoes, Newtons, that these are my third pairs. With the other pair of shoes that I was wearing, I'm not going to name the brand of them because I do feel like they are super popular, and I don't want to say that there's anything wrong, but they just didn't work out for me. And I realized that the only thing that had changed within my running routine was that I had recently got new shoes, and they were well broken in by then, like 100 miles on them. So I switched back to older running shoes where I was running pain-free and my knee pain stopped. I still do shorter runs in those shoes that were causing me discomfort, because like the shorter distances or once in a while doesn't bother me, but when I was consistently running in them for like my long runs and like a run within the week, like that was when I started having knee pain. So it just turns out that whatever the cushioning is or the drop just didn't work out for me. And they're great shoes, they're comfortable. But when I put my new Newtons back on, I was like, oh my gosh, yes, this is what heaven feels like on my foot for running. So if you are new to running or interested in running, I'm just gonna say you need to it sucks, it's the worst advice ever, but you just kind of have to give shoes a try, and what works for you may not work for somebody else, and what works for somebody else may not be the shoe for you. And that's really discouraging to say, because nobody wants to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars trying to figure out their foot. But I used to be like, any shoe will work for me until this moment, and then I was like, nope. And I tried other brands that people had sworn by or said were really good things, and I just put them on and I was like, this is just a shoe. But I really like the Newtons. I think that's why I don't heel strike anymore. So I've had a really positive experience with the Newton shoes that I've tried personally. So if you're looking to have a unique type of shoes, they're fun, they're brightly colored, give them a shot. My first pair, I ordered like the older models so that they weren't as expensive to decide if I wanted it or not. So if you are trying to figure out what shoe works for you, my first suggestion would be to look for like older models of shoes before you invest in like the new models. So, all right, I'm delaying my interval run as much as I can, I guess. So here we go. So an update from the other day. The interval run went better than expected, honestly. I think I really psyched myself up, and I worked hard when I had to work hard, and then I took it easy when I was supposed to take it easy. And that's been like my main focus over the last like 2 weeks while running. When I'm easy, I want to be running easy. So I really have been trying to ignore pacing, because I can do the pace right now, but if I push it when I'm not supposed to, that's when people get injured. So I finished up this week. This week has been a little chaotic. I finished moving this week. I've been moving boxes, moving furnitures, unpacking boxes, putting furniture where it's supposed to be, cleaning, all that good stuff. And I did 12 miles yesterday. It was kind of like a cutback week, so I could go anywhere between 12 and 14. And I just did 12, mostly because I got out a little late and it's windy season here in the desert. And I'm glad that I ended up just doing the 12-mile route because around mile 10, the wind picked up a bit and I was actually cold, even though I'd been running for almost 2 hours and my body temperature was certainly up. So kind of also a good thing because I woke up and my knee is sore, and I think that's a result of not really having as much rest as I would prefer this week. And nutrition obviously needs to become more of a focus for me, but I'm excited. Things are going well, and I think I'm like 10 weeks from the starting line, and I feel kind of nervous, to be honest with you, because this is a moment I've been waiting over a year for, and it's finally happening. And I'm feeling pretty optimistic about the state of the world. Things are getting more back to normal. So here's to hopefully more happy start lines in the future. Whew. I'm just finishing my 18-miler. I felt like a rock star for the first 11 and a half miles. And then I did some walking intervals as needed. And then stoplights were both welcomed and enemies. Like, I enjoyed having a minute to rest, but simultaneously my low back is super tight and my legs felt stiff, and it would like feel terrible to start running again. My headphones died at about mile 14, so I put them away for a little bit, and then when I got stopped at a really long light, I pulled them back out because they had charged just enough to finish. I feel really good about pacing and my body holding up, despite the fact that everything is like kind of cramping now. But it's kind of to be expected after a long run like that. I mean, maybe not if you're a professional, but if you're an amateur like me. But overall, I feel pretty good. I'm about to go get my iced coffee reward that I give myself every Saturday and stop at a gas station to buy some ice and really ice bath. I dressed appropriately. I had adequate fueling, and I hydrated well. The weather was not bad. It was great temperature, and shade was in my favor. It was supposed to be windy today, maybe this afternoon. There's a slight breeze, but nothing crazy. So I got really lucky there, because spring is super windy season here, and it said last night when I was looking at the weather that it was going to be cool and breezy today as the day went on. So I tried to get up early to run, and by early I just mean to get out of bed and be out the door between 8 and 9. So I can't wait to sit down.